Getting harder to find people wanting to talk openly about bathrooms and the lawsuits facing one of our school districts. Now the ACLU is involved. News Center 7's Kayla McDermott worked on this story earlier today.
Parents who send their kids to Bethel local schools have filed a federal lawsuit against the district, and it all has to do with the restrooms. In September of 2021, a parent brought it to the board's attention that transgender students should be able to use the bathroom they identify with.
How would you feel if you went into a restroom and you saw somebody of the opposite gender in your restroom?
Then, in January of 2022, the board made an announcement that this year, transgender students could use the bathroom of their choice without ever having a public discussion. Parents said they were blindsided by the board's change, which happened in secret, and filed a federal lawsuit. The main argument is that the change limits free exercise of religion. And I tried talking to parents at the school about this issue. Hi, I'm Kayla with Channel 7. Can I talk to you for a minute? But no one wanted to talk to me about the complaint. I was able to get a hold of the ACLU, who said bringing in religion is where a line needs to be drawn.
That the religious beliefs of one student entitles them to essentially infringe on the rights of another student. And so that's why we felt the need to get involved.
There are claims that children hold their urine and avoid using the restroom at all possible out of fear of seeing the opposite gender.
The school has provided an accommodation where students, including transgender students, can choose to use single occupancy restrooms.
Which is true. Single stall restrooms are available for everyone in addition to the communal restrooms. But Carrie says it's different for transgender students, that forcing them to use the single restrooms can be isolating.
That can lead to a lot of emotional and psychological difficulty in a vulnerable period of anyone's life.
With the ACLU getting involved, Carrie says their goal is to keep the decision in place and protect any current or future transgender students in the school system.
That the outcome that we're hoping for is an equitable accommodation that serves the needs of everyone. And as far as we can tell, that's what the school was providing.
We reached out to the district for a comment, but the superintendent said that he just can't talk about this right now. At Bethel Local Schools, Kayla McDermott, News Center 7.